All right, Jadeveon Clowney remains a free agent, and reports say he's willing to wait until training camp to sign. Now, ESPN's Adam Schefter is reporting that Clowney's best offer was from the Browns, but the former #1 overall pick, quote, balked at going to Cleveland for whatever reason, and I think he's been hesitant to go there. It's the richest offer on the table, and he hasn't taken it, end quote. Inbounds or out of bounds? Clowney is making a mistake by waiting and not signing with a loaded Cleveland Browns roster.
God, this is a two-part question. Is he making a mistake by waiting? I'm going to say that's out of bounds. But not signing with the Browns, that's inbounds. So I'm going to say ultimately out of bounds because I can't confirm both of them. I don't think he's making a mistake by waiting because ultimately a team is going to get desperate when they see that what they think they have, they don't actually have. And come closer to training camp, they're going to say, oh, man, we need a pass rusher. We actually have a decent squad, but we don't have anyone who can get after the quarterback who is available. And usually at this point, there's nobody available. But Jadeveon Clowney, one of the, not premier, but he's a top-end pass rusher in the National Football League, even though he is a little bit of a hybrid, which maybe have hurt his value. Is he a stand-up linebacker? Is he put his hand in the dirt, rush the end, which is repertoire of moves? But I'm going to say out of bounds. I think because he's waiting, he's doing himself favors. Now, if he would have signed with the Cleveland Browns, obviously he might have been overshadowed. So there could be that, I don't want to be another cog in an already loaded piece, which is an already loaded puzzle. But I'm going to say out of bounds with this one. I think waiting is right for him, even though the Cleveland Browns would have been a really good opportunity to win for him.
All right, Teak, as we know, after the Packers drafted Jordan Love, all the talk that surrounded QB Aaron Rodgers, but Green Bay also drafted running back A.J. Dillon in the second round, with fourth-year back Aaron Jones entering the final year of his rookie contract. Jones rushed for over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career, leading the NFL with 16 rushing touchdowns. This week, Jones told reporters he hopes to stay in Green Bay long-term. All right, Teak, as we know, after the Packers drafted Jordan Love, all the talk that surrounded QB Aaron Rodgers, but Green Bay also drafted running back A.J. Dillon in the second round, with fourth-year back Aaron Jones entering the final year of his rookie contract. Jones rushed for over 1,000 yards for the first time in his career, leading the NFL with 16 rushing touchdowns. This week, Jones told reporters he hopes to stay in Green Bay long-term. Inbounds or out-of-bounds, Teak? The Packers should give Jones a long-term top 10 running back contract.
I'm going to say inbounds to this, D-Cell, and it's not because I think Aaron Jones deserves to be the highest paid running back, but he is a very effective and two-way player for the Green Bay Packers. And look, they drafted A.J. Dillon, who is like polar opposite from what Aaron Jones does. So a threat to his touches is probably there a little bit, but a threat to his effect and import to this team is nowhere near in the cards. Now, the beauty of this from a Green Bay Packers standpoint, who don't want to break themselves on the cap with a running back, is that the running back market it's all over the place, right? Some running backs are going to make $12 or so million a year. Some are going to make $4 or $5 million a year. So top end for a top 10 running back making $7 million a season could be top 10, as crazy as that sounds. And I think it's well worth it for a kid who has been reliable, who's been durable, who's been dependent for this team. And we know, given this Matt LaFleur scheme, it's more about running the ball. It's why they didn't go get wide receivers in the draft and pick a backup potential replacement for Aaron Rodgers. It's because they want to run the ball. They want to throw the ball in the play action. And the only way to do that is if you have a reliable player who is versatile like Aaron Jones, who can also catch the ball in the backfield. Yeah, definitely pay him inbounds.
All right, take a little NBA here. James Harden has led the entire NBA in scoring each of the past 3 seasons, thanks to an array of step-back jumpers and the ability to drive to the rim and draw fouls. This week, a picture of Harden went viral showing the former Sun Devil star looking much thinner than his usual 220-pound frame, and his Rocket teammate Austin Rivers said, quote, "Y'all can call it what you want, but beefy Harden was averaging 36 a night. So I don't even know what skinny Harden is going to do. He definitely lost a cool 20 pounds, end quote." Wow. Inbounds or out of bounds, the weight loss will actually hurt Harden more than it will help him.
I'm going to say out of bounds to that. I think it's going to give him stamina and more speed and more agility. Like James Harden is one of these players who, when this pandemic hit and everybody shut down and either stayed at home or stopped working out, he went to Arizona and he found his old trainer. I think ASU from out that way, and just started like grinding it and pounding it and working at altitude. Like James Harden, didn't take this as a respite and say, I'm going to take a break, I'm going to chill. It's been a hard season. I'm going to recollect myself and build my body back up and get some rest. James Harden went out there and started crushing it because he knows that his window is, for a championship, not this season, but just in general, every year shrinks. And so he's got to come back when they do come back and be on fire. I think this helps him a lot. So I'm going to say out of bounds because stamina-wise, I think strength-wise, he's going to be better off if he's lighter. Now, I know he takes a lot of contact, and I know he goes to the rim, but I don't think that's going to be affected too much by his weight loss.
All right, Teak, while the NBA irons out the details of their Disney World plan and a return to the court, many players have expressed concern that they'll be separated from their families for a long period of time. The league is now talking with players to allow them to bring a limited number of family members with them to Disney, even though the park is set to open to the public in mid-July. Inbounds or out of bounds, all of the major sports should allow players to bring family members if they decide to play their season in a centralized bubble location.
God, I got to say out of bounds to this one, D-Cell. I mean, I get it. And I know that if I had young kids like I do now and I was still playing and, all right, Teak, you got to go spend the next 3 months in Orlando and play in this isolated environment and potentially be exposed. I don't know if I want my kids there, especially with the park open. But generally speaking, I'm going to say out of bounds because I think it gets too complicated. It gets logistically out of control. And then all it takes is for, I don't know, I don't want to even speculate on a domestic issue, but something that goes awry, and then all of a sudden, you're in this isolated bubble when you can't leave. So I'm going to say out of bounds to this one. I think it gets a little bit too intense if everybody has some family members there or not.
All right, take a little boxing for you. A few weeks ago, we briefly discussed the videos showing Mike Tyson looking ripped, fast, and powerful in training, and even floated the possibility of a Tyson Holyfield 3. However, Iron Mike might have his sights set on a different fighting format as he appeared on All Elite Wrestling last night. During his appearance, Tyson got heated with legend Chris Jericho, tore off his shirt, and needed to be held back by multiple wrestlers from fighting Jericho in the ring. All right, Teak, inbounds or out of bounds? You would rather see the 53-year-old former heavyweight champ join a wrestling league than get back into the ring for a real fight?
An exhibition fight, I would like to see him compete in, but for a real fight, I'm gonna say inbounds to this one. I'd like to see him do All Elite Wrestling. Because, I mean, I get that I feel like he'd get killed if he went and fought against some of these young bucks, like, I don't know, Tyson Fury or even Deontay Wilder. I think it would not end well for Mike Tyson. I know he looks good against punching a bag, but, up against a behemoth like these heavyweights are right now. Mike Tyson's not a tall, big man any longer. He never was tall, but he's jacked, but he's not huge. These heavyweights, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury and Wilder, they're big people, and he would have a significant disadvantage on reach, certainly on age and conditioning and stamina. I don't think it would end pretty for Mike Tyson. An exhibition would be fun. Just punch around a little bit, not actually try to hurt anybody. But I think wrestling is interesting. So I watched a little bit of this, and this beef with Chris Jericho goes back a decade when he was a tag team partner with Jericho, and he double-crossed him They knocked him out, and he ultimately got pinned, and they lost the tag team. He lost the title. And so for 10 years, Chris Jericho has been waiting for his revenge, and it almost happened. And I think this is actually more of the path that Mike Tyson's going to go down, because he's entertaining. It was kind of funny, but serious at the same time, because he struggled ripping his shirt off. Mike Tyson's got some acting chops, and he tried not to laugh, but he did crack up a little bit. This is going to be fun to watch him do some wrestling, not boxing.